We on?
We're on.
We're back again. It's real to me. In the studio, it's me. It's producer Mike. It's Monthly Mayhem, Volume 2. Because people did say after Volume 1, they thought it was just me sat in a room by myself. So, just let you know, there is someone else here. And here he is. He's been held captive to listen to me talk about wrestling for the next 20-ish minutes, probably. But yeah, let's get into it. Probably start from the top. Last Friday night, Cody Rhodes is officially the WWE World Heavyweight Champion again. I don't really know how I feel, to be honest. I've gone back and forth with it in my mind. I think him and Randy Orton is obviously a brilliant story. It'd be absolutely fucking fantastic if Randy can win 15 world titles. Probably the most underrated of all of them that came up through the Ruthless Aggression era for me. But they've done Drew McIntyre very, very dirty. Why even bother making him a world champion? Going through all the kind of him just absolutely running through people, being an absolute savage heel, just to then get beat like that on an episode of SmackDown to build to... It just doesn't feel like there's any kind of common sense going on in whoever's booking this shit at all. It would have been a way better story for my money to actually run a Fatal 4 where you can tell many stories throughout that between Jacob Fatu, the whole Jay being hit before the Elimination Chamber. There's so much there. You've got Randy going for 15, you've got Cody trying to win the title back, you've got Drew just being an absolute fucking monster and a savage. But instead, they've decided to chop it up, and clearly the two, Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, just make a much better main event money-wise, I guess. That can only really be the rationale behind it. But yeah, again, the booking just feels absolutely all over the place at the minute. There's just no surprises. Everything just feels... Everyone knew what was going to happen. No one really wanted to tune in. People did anyway, and it happened, and it's all just very cut and paste. But something that feels a little bit more real. Rhea Ripley, Jade Cargill, they very much got into it. It feels quite heated. It feels quite real. Obviously, every chance that they're working it, it's very solid work if they are. But two good promos on SmackDown. A lot of social media shit going down. Apparently that's not what was planned, and it wasn't planned to talk about Rhea Ripley being in creative's pockets and all the rest of it. But here we are, and it definitely sells, and it is making Rhea look like a really good decision. I said in the last podcast, I predicted that she was probably the only one out of the 6 women in the chamber that, could carry this as a bit of a women's main event going into WrestleMania, and so far it looks that way. Really, really solid. Spoke last time about Gunther, and they're still just... He's being done so dirty, the absolute ring general wrestling machine. He's now unmasking Dragon Lee. Like, I don't really care. I don't know if many people do care. Like, people cared what he did to John Cena. People cared what he did to AJ Styles. It doesn't really feel like anybody cares that he's doing this with the best will in the world, a mid-card guy. Yeah, he tagged with AJ Styles, okay. Tells a bit of a story, but he could be doing so much more. You've got this Brock Lesnar kind of open challenge for WrestleMania. I'd love to see that be gone for. I'd love them to just put on an absolute meat-slapping match. Just two absolute beefcakes going at it. You don't get much of that anymore. On the last podcast, we made a few predictions. I think I was about 50-50 on that. We had CM Punk. It was all a bit of a tribute to CM Punk, to be fair. It was in Chicago. He had his match with Finn. I thought it was good. I thought the match itself was absolutely fucking brilliant. And I did predict and kind of anticipate that the Judgment Day and Dirty Dom Mysterio would actually turn on Finn there. They didn't. But since then, it's kind of gone from strength to strength. That's one I'm really excited for. I think last night, the turn finally happening, Dominic Mysterio essentially becoming a bit of a leader now of that group. Putting the kind of metal thing in his socks and hitting a 619 was fucking gnarly. That was horrible. And he's truly is becoming a right nasty little bastard. And that's what we like to see from Dirty Dom. Probably the top heel around for me. And it's been absolutely brilliant. But I predicted that to happen there. Again, it happened a bit later. Was it probably a bit more predictable? Maybe. It sets them up for WrestleMania, probably with Penta triple threat for the World Heavyweight title. And I mean, Penta even happening on Raw, you know, no kind of build to it, but fantastic, you know, brilliant, making the Intercontinental Championship mean something again. I did make a little video about this on the old TikTok. You can hit me up on the TikTok at Liam Talks Wrestling. It's real to me. You can send us some fan questions. It's realtome1@gmail.com. Because we did put out some, you know, put out a bit of a cry for some fan questions last time, and I've refreshed the email and big fat womp, womp, womp. So, you know, hopefully there'll be more than 28 people listening on YouTube next time, and you can actually, you know, leave us some questions that we can get into. But yeah, back to the Chamber. You know, I thought the AJ Lee, Becky Lynch match was good. I thought Becky would have won that, but again, it was very much the CM Punk show that night. So his wife went over. AJ Lee won the Intercontinental title, which, you know, again, you know, saw a lot of people in the comments, TikTok and Instagram, just absolutely hating the shit out of this. And I didn't think it was that bad. I thought the match was all right. A lot of people were very mad about Danhausen coming out of a box. Again, it's a bit gobbledygooker, it's a bit 1990s, but it's not the worst thing in the world, and he's doing his comedy thing backstage. He's a bit R-Truth-like, and, you know, let me know what you think. As I say, you know, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, IRTM with 5 underscores. Find that if you will. Thinking back to the Chamber, you know, we had the men's Chamber. Did kind of like the way that happened. I'm glad that Randy did win it, but as we've alluded to, I just think the storytelling since then has just been poor. It's very predictable, and, you know, I do hope that he does win the 15th title, but I just can't see it now. They're building Cody Rhodes like a super Cena. I just think he's not going to hold the title for 40 something days and then drop it, or maybe he will. Maybe we will finally get a surprise. But my morale in terms of all this is very, very low at the minute, in terms of being a wrestling fan, and there's just no shocks, no surprises. Hopefully the Brock Lesnar match will bring out something, but it just doesn't feel like it. But let us know how you feel. But moving on to, again, I'd made a video about this because I really wanted to highlight this. Leon Slater, X Division champion, TNA, had a match with Nick Nemeth, formerly known as Dolph Ziggler, however you know him, and I was so excited for this, and rightly so, because it absolutely delivered. Leon Slater, absolutely, you know, Brit Rest through and through, now making waves over there, and I'm so excited to see that, because, you know, we do have a strong contingent now. We've got Drew McIntyre, WWE champion, just been dethroned. We've now got Leon Slater, X Division. It's not looking like he'll be in TNA for too much longer, to be honest. There's reports that, you know, by the end of the year his TNA contract's up, and, you know, in the WWE that could be an absolute star match. And if you also haven't heard, bang bang, Ricky Sosa, if you don't know, get to know. The newest online sensation has also signed with TNA, and I love to see that. TNA making an absolute resurgence in 2026. The TNA that we all knew and loved when we were young, when it was AJ Styles, Kurt Angle, Peak Angle, throwing himself about, Samoa Joe, Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley, Booker T. If we can get it back to that, what a year it would be, because TNA was in the dump for the longest of times, and now it's actually back. It's got new stars, it's got new talent, the X Division's on fire, and we'd absolutely love to see it. So big up TNA, and if you're not watching, get watching. And finally, just wanted to touch on NXT. The past weekend, we all believe in Joe Hendry. I spoke about British wrestling. This is another man that's making an absolute wave. Him and Ricky Saints was fantastic. I think Ricky Saints on the mic has been brilliant. He's really come through since coming from AEW. And their match at Vengeance Day was a good match. I enjoyed it. Really enjoying Joe Hendry, and I'd love to see him kind of get the call up soon. You know, he had the match with Randy Orton at WrestleMania, and, you know, if they could really put the rocket behind him, that would be absolutely fantastic. And Blake Monroe, Jada Parker in their match, in their street fight, that was really enjoyable to watch, and I didn't really expect that prior, but I was really surprised to that. But yeah, moving on from NXT to essentially NXT's rival, AEW, and I'm just mega underwhelmed with everything that's going on. They've got MJF, and he is better than you, and you do know it. But that's kind of it. That's literally kind of... There's not loads going on. Like, I don't know. I don't really know what to say. Like, the match with him and Hangman will be good again, but they just need some stars. I feel like when CM Punk went over there, and obviously that was a long time of him out of wrestling and then back into wrestling, it was huge. But the whole time he was there, it felt huge. Samoa Joe was there. It felt big. They were building MJF, and now MJF's kind of there, and he's this mega heel, but almost like a anti-hero heel that people kind of love to hate, even though he isn't an absolute piece of shit. But yeah, and he's there, and there's just kind of no one there with him. You've got like, why John Moxley could be doing something with him, but that's it, him and Hangman Page, and I just don't. The stars are there to be elevated, but there's just nothing at the moment. And does he jump ship? I know he's just signed a deal with AEW, but imagine him in the WWE. Can you imagine it? How do you all feel about that? That's something that, let us know. How do you feel about MJF moving over to WWE? Do you think it'd work? Do you think it wouldn't work? You tell me. But otherwise, yeah, AEW, we need some new stars. It's really underwhelming. Jericho's now gone, and we don't really know what's going on with him. There's not really been much out of Edge. And again, that's not building new stars. That's using former, quite old stars. But that's kind of been the playbook for a little while. So step up your game. But yeah, Monthly Mayhem. That's it. Short and sweet. In around the 12-13 minute mark. A little whistle stop tour of March. Next episode will be WrestleMania week. What will be going on by then? Between then and now, send us some questions, send us some insights, make us laugh if you want. Do whatever you want, send it to the email. It's realtome1@gmail.com. You can find me on TikTok at Liam Talks Wrestling. It's real to me. We're on Instagram. All the links will be in the bio of the podcast. This will be dropping tomorrow. Tomorrow will be Wednesday for those of you that are auditory listeners and don't have a clue when this is being recorded. Thank you to producer Mike, who's sat and listened to me ramble on for the past God knows how long. He'll probably be happy to have a break, go and have a piss. And we go again. But remember, if it's real to you, it's real to me. Goodbye.